Welcome to the PSN Commanders Network. This is your boy Tone, aka Tech, and we're back with another video. If I get started with golf, I got to right now. Hope guys want to do those people, all people with angels on their pyramid. Amen. Today, I'm not here to specifically rap about the Washington Commanders, but I'm here to rap about NFL draft approach. It's just for all 32 teams, not just the Commanders, but I know I'm a Commanders fan, so a lot of Commanders fans subscribe to this channel. So this is my video on how I would go about it if I had my GM hat on, right? And the pros and cons between these two approaches of way to draft players, right? And I think where you spy in the draft can give you the best way of how to go about it. So we'll talk about the differences between drafting best player available, which is BPA, and also drafting for need. What is the best approach and why? And let's get right into it. So I'm gonna give you pros on both of them. So pros of BPA is you're getting the best player available. Especially in the top 5, you're getting a blue chip prospect. You can plug and play these guys immediately, and they should contribute immediately, right? Cons to best player available. Sometimes you might be overdoing it at a certain position. Like for example, I'm not saying if you already have a franchise quarterback, go get another quarterback. Like there's certain exceptions to the rule, right? But let's just say you have a decent tackle and a stud tackle, but you can draft another stud tackle and move that other tackle to guard. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Oh, you have a really solid wide receiver 1, but you can get a generational one, and that group can be wide receiver 2 for you now. Sure, do that. And it's not a slight to Terry McLaurin, so don't come in the comment section. Oh, Terry. It's not about Terry. It's all about the National Football League in general. This is a general statement, so shut up and calm down. Back to the point at hand. So I want to address that because I don't want to hear that in the comment section. I don't want to hear that. Please. For the love of God, please do not do that. Please. It's not a slight to Terry. Please. Gosh. That's right, Lee. Like even like the Packers, you like Christian Watson. And you got a guy like Malik Neighbors. I'm taking Malik Neighbors. What are we talking about? And I'm moving Christian Watson to the other side of the field. What I'm talking about? Gosh, whatever. There's examples. Drafting for need. You're addressing a position immediately. That's the number 1 pro. You're getting a solid, especially in round 1, you're getting a solid football player for that position. They should be able to play immediately. Number 2. So same as BPA. And number 3, you don't have to worry about you shouldn't have to worry about the position for the next 5 to 10 years, depending on what the position is. His left tackle, for example, you don't have to worry about left tackle for 5 to 10 years at least, right? So stuff like that. So those are the pros to BPA and drafting for need. Cons. There's only one for each. For best player available, sometimes you don't address an immediate need, which you have to address it later in the draft, or you have to address it earlier in free agency. As for drafting for need, you don't get the best player available. And I think that's so important. So those are pros and cons to the BPA versus drafting for need. Now, I got my GM hat on. I am Alex Hallaby, the Washington Commanders general manager. I'm speaking into existence because I think that's the guy they're going to hire because he's analytical and all that kind of crap. And I think he looks like Spider-Man, as Rio Robinson would say. He's like 36 years old, so he's super young and super analytical and perfect fit. But not my business. So let's say I'm Alex Hallaby. I am the Washington Commanders general manager. I'm taking the best player available at the spot that I'm drafting at. Now, if I trade down, I'm also in the first round, I always go BPA in the first round. Because, right, if it's a generational talent, if you're picking in the top 5, you suck. You are trash. You're the Commanders. Any other team, I'll talk about other teams. So if you're in the top 5, you stink. You're not a good football team. Or I said in the Bears case, you are more of a middle-of-the-pack football team. You're still not good, but you're slightly closer to the middle of the pack than the Commanders are, but you're not that much better, right? And you need a generational talent. You need a guy who's going to change your franchise. Whatever position, it doesn't matter. You need a guy who's going to change the tide of your franchise. If you're in the top 5 in the draft, that's what you're looking for. You're not drafting for need. You're not pressing for needs, you're getting the best player available. So if you're in the top 5, you should always go BPA. Always go BPA. Always. If you're in the teens, so let's say you're from 10 to 19. If you're in the top, you're in the bottom of the top 10, you should also be going for best player available. Shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. I didn't agree with the pick when they did it, but look at that man now. They drafted Bijan Robinson, and they're in the middle of a playoff race. And also led the division for most of the year. Are they under 500? Yes. But that's the division. It's trash. But they're in the middle of a playoff race. And they still might win the NFC South and still get in the playoffs. If they went out. We don't know. If they went out, they get in. Heck, if we know if they're 6 and 7, they might get in. I don't know. But the point is, he's been impactful for them. They didn't need a damn running back. Tyler Algier just had 1,000 yards. They said, screw that. We're getting the best player on the board. And he's a freaking dog and I'm drafting him. Yes, I could probably use a second corner maybe, or I could use a safety next to Jesse Bates, or I could use a tight end next to Kyle Pitts because John Smith would get up there in age, and I might need a guy for the future. I could have used a lot of other things. I could use a receiver next to Drake London. All that crap. They said, screw all of it. I could use an edge rusher maybe, a younger one that can replace one of these older ones I picked up in free agency. No, screw it. I want Bijan Robinson. I'm taking him. And you know what? I respect the approach. The Carolina Panthers, they drafted Christian McCaffrey with the 8th pick in the draft. They desperately need a running back? No. Guess what? I think they still had Jonathan Stewart. I believe they still had D'Angelo Williams. Don't quote. I think they did. But nonetheless, they did. And they did. They did it. They did it. And Carolina was a solid football team for a while. With Cam and C-Mac back there. They ain't go to Super Bowl, but they made the playoffs. They were a decent team. They weren't terrible. They start seasons on fire most seasons. Start most seasons 6-2 and crap like that. They were winning football games until Cam Newton melted down and started getting hurt all the time. But they were, when Cam and C-Mac were healthy, this team was hitting different. The Carolina Panthers were a really good football team. You look at the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to give you another example for BPA. They could have took Penei Sewell with the 5th pick in the draft. They said, F that. I'm taking Jamar Chase. And they've been to a damn Super Bowl. Do I got to give more examples? The Detroit Lions this year. Perfect example. The Detroit Lions said, you know what? I could maybe use another linebacker maybe. I could maybe use another safety or something. And I got CJ Gardner-Johnson and the other guy, I forgot his name, off the top of my head, don't quote me. Maybe another corner to replace Jeff Okudah. F all that. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs. They're 9-4 right now. 9-4. And we're going to take Jack Campbell, who might not have been the best fit, but they thought was the best player available. And he's been very, very good for them. And also, they did it in the 2nd round. They did it again. They took Sam Laporta. Because Michael Mayer was already off the board. He was the best tight end on the board, and they took him. They did the same with Brian Bryce. They said, hell, we're going to trade up for him and get him. The Detroit Lions are the perfect draft. They took the best player available with said picks they had in their possession. And they wanted a player that we knew they weren't going to get at their current pick. They moved up and got said player. Now, drafting for need is not a bad thing. Now, this is where drafting for need is at best, when you're drafting 25 or below. If you're in the top 20 picks in the draft, you should not be picking for need. You should be picking best player available. After pick 21, those teams are teams that made the playoffs. You can pick for need because you need something to improve your football team, and you should go get that to fill that need. And most of those teams have a bunch of guys that are on higher salaries, so they don't have the cap flexibility that these other teams in the top 20 have. In most cases, sometimes There's a playoff team with a bunch of young players that are on rookie deals that there are exceptions to this rule. But look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts is on a big extension. A.J. Brown's on a big extension. They got to play Jesse Kelsey again pretty soon. Jordan Mailata's on a nice little piece of change. So is Lane Johnson's on a nice little piece of change. They structure those contracts well, but nonetheless, they're on big deals. So is Hassan Reddick. So is Darius Slay. So is James Bradbury. These guys are getting paid a lot of freaking money. So they don't have the cap flexibility to get best player available and go get a guy later. They need to go get a guy that they need for a specific position because they need that player at that position. They also made the damn playoffs. They're actually a good football team. They're a couple players away from making the Super Bowl. If they don't make the Super Bowl this year, I'm just saying an example. Give you an example. The Kansas City Chiefs, they can draft for need. You know why? Because they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to probably win a playoff game. They might get to the conference championship game. Maybe. All right? Those type of teams can draft for need because they're needing a player at a certain position to take them over the top. That's why you can draft for need. So how you go about when you're in the top 20, draft best player available. I don't give a freak what you need. You can address needs in the second round. You have 6 more rounds in the damn draft. Excuse my French. If you're picking but after 21, you've made the playoffs. You can afford to go ahead and draft for need. Because for one, you've made the playoffs. That shows you're a solid football team and you have a solid foundation already in place. Number 2, if you're picking 25 and below, that means you won a darn playoff game. That means you're not far away from where you want to go. You're picking in the late 20s, you played in the conference championship game more than likely. Excuse me. And you are maybe a player or two away from competing for something special. And if you play the Super Bowl, you know what your weaknesses are, attack. That's how you draft in a draft. If it was me. You're in the top 20, you didn't make the damn playoffs. Guess what? Draft best player available. Get the best player at said position. Like I said, there are exceptions. You already have a franchise quarterback, say the Chargers. Chargers picking at 9. The best player available is Michael Penix Jr. You don't take him, obviously, because you already have Justin Herbert. There are exceptions to the rule. Or, like I said, if it's Joe Alt and you already have a Sean Slater and another really good tackle, you might take Joe Alt and move that guy to guard. So it's just something certain. Or another example, if the Chargers, the best player available is a wide receiver, Malik Neighbors is the best player available. You have Mike Williams under a nice little piece of change for an extension. Same with Keenan Allen. And then you still have a guy like Quentin Johnson on a rookie deal. You don't touch that because you already have an established receiving core. There are certain exceptions to the rule. But normally you take best player available. Like I said, the Falcons did it, and they're competing for a playoff spot. I don't care they're below 500. They're trying to win their damn division. Shout out to them. The Carolina Panthers did it, and they were continuously in playoff contention. They even made the playoffs, or they were right there. They were always in the mix. Like I said, the Bengals did it. They went to a Super Bowl. They didn't need a wide receiver. They had Tyler Boyd and freaking T. Higgins. You think they cared? Hell no. They took Jamar Chase and they went to the Super Bowl. Given they did address the offensive line of free agency, but none of those guys are going to be better than Penei Sewell. But they still took the best player available at their pick, and it was Jamar Chase. So all this, we need an offensive lineman. I don't disagree we need a left tackle. If the best player available for the Washington Commanders at pick 4 or 5, whatever they pick at, I think that they'll pick at 6. I do think the Washington Commanders are going to win another game. I believe it's the New York Jets game on Christmas Eve. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is playing. I really don't care. We have beat Aaron Rodgers before. I don't care. We beat Aaron Rodgers when we were a 2-5 football team. We beat them when we were 4-12. We beat them when we were trash. We beat them when we were good. I don't care. I don't care. I am not scared of Aaron Rodgers off a freaking Achilles tear. If you're scared of Aaron Rodgers from an Achilles tear and he miraculously recovers, he actually tore the damn thing, which I don't believe he did. I don't believe he did, but it's just my business, right? I'm just saying, right? that that's an ET tour. Let's say tour. You think he's gonna be the same guy 3 months later? I don't. So we probably should beat the New York Jets. All right, so you'll probably finish 5-12. And if you play Cowboys backups, you probably beat them too. So you'll probably finish 6-11. Just saying, you have a chance to win a game, and I think you might win two because you might beat the Cowboys in Week 18. Ron will try to go out on a high note and ruin our draft stock. I'm telling you, Ron knows he's out the door, man. So be careful with that. None of my business. I'm just saying that going BPA is so much better because you're getting the best talent available. That's important. Drafting for need gets you in trouble. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you an example of that right now before we get out of this video. 2021. We needed a linebacker. We knew we needed. We reached for a need. We took a third-round talent in the first damn round. How'd that turn out? The linebacking core still sucks. And we ain't won a goddamn thing with Jamin Davis. How's that look? In 2022, we were desperate to improve the receiving core. We got out of 11 because I believe for once they were going to do something right and draft Garrett Wilson. I really believe that. They didn't want Olave. They used Olave as a scapegoat, kind of as a smokescreen. They wanted Garrett Wilson. I wanted Garrett Wilson. Okay, Garrett Wilson is gone. Get the hell out the pick. Got the hell out of 11. Got the Hall players with Brian Robinson, Sam Howell, and Cole Turner. You know the rest. Whatever. And I think someone else. I don't know who the fourth player was. Don't quote me. Or Jahan Dotson. So you got Jahan Dotson. Was it a reach? Yes. I love Han. It was a reach. We reached for a need. And guess where we're at, guys? We're still not a good football team, sir. So how that drafting for need thing sounds, sir? It's not good enough. Stop drafting for need because you're desperate and go get the best players because we need talent. We need elite blue chip talent everywhere. That even includes quarterback eventually. If Sam is not proving that he's the guy. Love Sam. Is he a can't miss blue chip player? I don't think so. I think he's one of those franchise quarterbacks, that 14 to 15 range of quarterbacks around the league. He's a Kirk Cousins who can run. That's probably his apex. And that's a franchise quarterback. That's a borderline low-end franchise guy. That's fine. But that doesn't mean if Caleb Williams staring at your damn face, you don't take him. We love Terry McLaurin. I love 17. I love Terry McLaurin. I have his autograph. I love Terry McLaurin. This autograph is right here. It's Terry freaking McLaurin. I love Terry to death. I'm a big Terry guy. Humble man, man of God. I respect him. Heck of a football player on the field. Makes a ton of big catches. He's a heck of a football player. I love Terry McLaurin, the man and football player. I respect him a ton. But if Marvin Harrison Jr. staring in your face, you take him. Sorry, not sorry, no offense. Charles Leno, an average starting left tackle in the league. Like Leno, don't love him. I think he's borderline trash sometimes, but not my business. If Olu Fashanu is daring you in your face and Marvin Harrison and Caleb Williams are gone, guess what? You take Olu Fashanu. End of discussion. You take the best player available. If Joe Alt, and let's say you're picking at 6, Joe Alt, Olu's gone, Marvin Harrison's gone, both quarterbacks are gone, and the best player available is Malik Neighbors. Let's just say, I'm just hypothetical. You take him. He's the best player on your board. Take him. If Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA is the best player on your board. And let's say you're picking at 7. I don't think we'll go that low, but you never know. If you win 2 more games, you might go that low. So whatever. You take them. You take best player available. You don't just reach for a need. You don't do that. We did it with Jamin Davis. We did it with Jahan Dotson. We kind of did it with Brian Robinson in the 3rd round. He's turned out to be a pretty good football player, though. So I like Brian Robinson a lot. I like B-Rob. Oh, we didn't really do it with Chase, so I can't say we did it with Chase. What we did with Fadarian Mathis, who we didn't know what the heck was going on with Deron Payne. We didn't know going to re-sign here. We didn't know what the hell was going on. So we said we need a defensive tackle, and we need one now. And look how that turned out, sir. Fadarian Mathis has 1 NFL tackle. 1. He has 1 more tackle than Tony Hamilton does. Pathetic. Stop reaching for needs. It's not a good idea. Get the best player available. We need to stop screaming. We need offensive linemen. We need a quarterback. We need this. We need that. We need almost every freaking thing. We suck. We're not a good football team. Is this roster as bad as I'm attacking it right now? No, but it needs a lot of work. We need blue chip talent. And you're not getting it by reaching for needs. If the best player is available on the board is Joe Alt, take him. He's a blue chip talent. He's a hell of a tackle. He's been really good at the National Football League level. If the best player is Olu Fashanu, you take him because he's a blue chip player. He's a heck of a football player. If your best player available is Marvin Harrison Jr., you take him because he's a blue chip talent. He's going to be one of the best receivers in the NFL very, very soon. And you know what you do after that? You attack needs in the 2nd round. You get attacking need in the 3rd round. That's when your scouting department gets gems. Look at one more example. It's a long video. I'm gonna give you one more example of that, right? So you take BPA early in the draft, and late in the draft, you get your gems. Look at the Los Angeles Rams starting defense. Shout out to Louis T. Name a player not named Jordan Fuller and Aaron Donald. Please do so and comment down below, sir. I bet you can't. And without Googling, don't Google. Don't Google. Please don't. You can't. I don't think you can. Bobby Brown III. Shout out to Santiago Terrell's nephew. My guy Santiago. 5th round pick. I think 4th round pick. Their starting linebacker. The dude's like 270, something like that. 280, whatever he is. He's a 5th round pick. I think both of their starting corners are like 4th round picks, something like that. These dudes are drafted and they got gems because they couldn't draft in the 1st and 2nd round because they're trading all their draft picks away to get established veterans. So what do? They got diamonds in the rough. Tyler Higbee, a 4th round pick. I think Kyron Williams was a 5th or 6th rounder. Cooper Kupp was a 3rd rounder. Puka Nacua went undrafted. The one guy that's a real blue chip guy that went early in the draft outside Aaron Donald's roster is Matthew Stafford. To be honest with you. The left tackle was the guy they took in the 5th, 6th round to replace Andrew Whitworth. You need to take BPA almost all the time. When you take BPA, you unlock gems. You unlock gems. Those are gems from the Los Angeles Rams. They draft well. For a team that has not had a 1st or 2nd round pick in multiple seasons, they have drafted extremely well to hold that team together and keep them competitive. Shout out to the Los Angeles Rams, our Week 15 opponent. They draft well. And I hope this new GM comes here and does the same. And I hope it's Alex Hallaby because he's going to be aggressive and get more players. That's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. BPA, guys, stop reaching for needs, bro. It don't help you. It does not help you. Ask Jamin Davis. Asked for Darian Mathis. 20 Cent asked Jahan Dotson. Love Jahan. Love Han. But it's facts. Facts are facts here. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one.